We go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? Hey, yo, Bo knows this, and Bo knows that, but Bo don't know Jack, cause Bo can't rap. What up, peoples? Big Lou tapping on in. I know anybody here right now. Oh, I know anybody here right now. Wendy was here, but I just did a little thing with the fellas at I Talk yesterday, and well, let's kick it off like this. Anybody that's going to come back and watch this video for the first time and haven't already, please sub to the channel, like and share the channel. Majority, I do a lot of sports, but I do a lot of different things. As you can see the title of this video. Farmedo, what's up, man? Orale, did you see that family in Tennessee? No, what happened? So I do a lot of different things on this channel. So sub, like, and share. Also, go check me out on Harvey Talks Prison. We've done so far part 2. We've done 2 parts. Part 2 just dropped today. We did part 1 on Tuesday. He dropped it Wednesday, and then we did part 2 yesterday, and he dropped it today. So it's probably going to be probably a total of because when you do the Zoom, you only 30-minute recording, increments of 30 minutes. So 30 minutes goes fast. The family's 2 kids were killed by their pit bulls, and the mom is in critical condition. Oof! Wow! No, I didn't hear about that, man. And that's basically what I'm going to talk about, in this video. Were they? To your knowledge, what do you know about the story? Were they the family pets, and they just did this out of nowhere, got vicious out of nowhere, or what was going on with that? So yeah, go check me out over there, and go check out Harvey as well. Harvey Talks Prison. He's from Missouri. He's a kickback older guy. Late. I don't know exactly how old Harvey is. Well, let's figure this out. He did 29 years. He's been out 6 years, so that's 35 years. Excuse me. He was 17 when he went in. He's been out 6 years, so that's 23, and he did 29 years. So he's somewhere in his early 50s. Their family pits just snapped. Wow, that's a trip. I'm gonna look into that probably right now, sometime now after during this video. If you want to come on, let me know, Famedo, and you don't have to show your face, but if you want to talk, put your avatar, you know how to do it, I'm pretty sure. If anybody ends up coming in, oh, there he is, the musical genius himself, Don Claudio Perry. Big Lou just in to say hi, have a great show. Yep, thank you for stopping in. So if you haven't already, go check out Harvey Talks Prison. Like I said, he's from Missouri. He's from the Midwest. It's a little bit different, prison system than people always usually hear about. Texas, California, New York, Illinois, Florida. He came from Missouri. I did already two videos with him. Like I said, we did one yesterday, and he dropped it today, and we did one on Tuesday. He dropped it Wednesday. It's probably going to be like a 5-part series at least. And then at some point, I'm gonna bring him on and have him come on here. And then I also did a video yesterday with the fellas at I Talk, if they only knew, which was about a 38-minute video. So we'll have to get back to finishing up on that as well. But I'm looking to expand this channel, get the channel out there, the name, as well as a no-fly zone. So again, anybody watching this later on, coming back watching this video, first time you're watching the video, go and sub also to the original channel, the No-Fly Zone Ricans, where I'm a part of a 3-man crew with Nelson and Carlos. And this channel here at What It Do with Big Lou, NFZR2, is just primarily me. And then Carlos is it should be coming out with the No-Fly Zone 3 pretty soon here. No-Fly Zone, the original channel, No-Fly Zone Ricans, is on a little break right now. Some people have a lot of things going on in their personal life, so we haven't had time to get on there. So that's why I've been trying to keep this channel going and alive and well. You feel me? And I've been doing things with other channels. Hopefully, it was unfortunate. I got sick, and I had a big guest that was going to come on. It was already lined up for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks prior to me getting sick. You know, so it unfortunately didn't work out because I was sick in bed, stuck in bed. But you know, he had a platform of like 70. I think he's at about 72,000 subscribers. But he has platforms. He's not just on YouTube. He's got Facebook and Instagram, and I think he even does some other platforms. So he's pretty big, you know. And it was unfortunate I got sick when I got sick because, like I said, he was coming on the No Fly Zone, the original channel, and it just ended up not working out because unfortunately because I got sick. But anyways, so like I said, I've been working with iTalk. I've been working with Harvey. Harvey Talks Prison. If you guys didn't hear me, go check him out. I did 2 videos over there. Go show your boy Big Lou some support. Make a comment on the video. Also sub to Harvey's channel. Also, if you haven't already, go sub to iTalk if they only knew, and show them some support as well. And so as you guys see the title of the video, the picture of the video, I haven't got to figure this out yet. All yet how to use the thumbnails all that well. So the original picture I was putting was a picture of the 3 main breeds of the so-called what we call pit bulls here in the United States. So one was the American Pit Bull. One was the American Pit Bull Terrier, one was the Staffordshire Terrier, and one was the Pit Bull Terrier, which is, if people don't know, the Pit Bull Terrier is the Spud McKenzie, right? But over the years, people's made, you know, they've changed the breed, you know, the look of the breed, and they got bullies, they got all kinds of different bloodlines, Razor's Edge, Gotties. There's all kinds of different breeds now. Thin Dude, what's going on, man? So, you know, so basically, you know, I know Thin Dude's a big pit bull lover. I don't know who else in here has had a pit bull or loves pit bulls, but I've had 3 main ones that I can, you know, that I've had more than that, but the other ones I had them for like breeding purposes. But 3 main ones that I had stuck out to me. I had a female that I had bought from a friend. Yeah, I guess he's a friend. I met him in school, and we had some acquaintance over the years, and he had met some guy that had came through town and broke down, and he had the dog, and I had seen the dog when I first met the guy he was with. Some point in time, they get pulled over walking, and they take the guy to jail. Now he's got stuck with the dog. I ended up buying the dog from her real cheap, and she was real not skittish with me, but when I first got her, but she didn't really take to me. And as soon as I fed her, as soon as I fed the dog, she acted like I raised her, you know what I'm saying? And she was about 8 months old when I got her, 10 months old maybe. And, you know, I had her for a couple hours, and then I fed her. And like I said, she acted like I had her since she was a baby. And this dog, I was told, and she was a little bit different looking. She was tall, she was long, and I was told that she was a Kobe pit. And basically I was told, I don't know how true this is. I never researched it. I don't know if you guys ever even heard of that. Kobe pit, kind of, Thin Dude's dog Vito kind of looks like he could be part Kobe, where they're more slender, they're more kind of tallish, and they got like a longer nose. And I was told that the Kobe's were bred to be for the nose were longer, bred to be longer for fighting purposes. I don't know how true that is. That's just something I was told by a guy who bred a lot of dogs. He bred a lot of pit bulls. You know, this guy had a pit bull. Like we call him the pit bull farm. His name was Antonio. And when you drive into his yard, I mean, he had pit bulls tied up everywhere, chained up, tied up, because, you know, obviously they get loose, they'll fight. And then he always had at least 2 or 3 litters of pups on the floor, you know, on the ground. That's what we would say. We would say it like that, on the ground. And he was just breeding them, you know, and he would get different ones, trade them, sell them. Ones he had, he would trade them, sell them, get other ones. If people found a pit bull, and, you know, and it was something they think they would go to him, you know what I mean? So I had made a deal with him one time. And I gave him this blue fawn. I ended up getting this blue fawn from a friend of mine's family who couldn't keep her no more. So I got this blue fawn, and I gave him to him. And I told him that if I ever need a red-nosed female, you know, a certain body style to match my male that I had, and he said, "Yeah, I'll find you, you know, a female that fits that." And sure enough, that's what happened. I've owned them before, but I'll just say I'm not a fan. Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of now that I'm older, it's not that I'm not a fan. Them dogs are smart. They're very loyal. They're very protective. It's not so much I'm not a fan. It's just like what we're gonna get to today, talking about how they get the bad rap, where they always you know, they're looked at like bad dogs and stuff like that. And uh sometimes people tend to you know, believe that. But like you mentioned today, I don't know if you heard about this, Thin Dudes, but Farmetto said there was a family in I think I forgot what state. I'm gonna look at right now what he told me. State in Tennessee, that the family's two kids were killed by their two pit bulls, and the mom is in critical condition. That's crazy. I stick with working breeds: Dutch Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, Belgian Shepherd. Yeah, German Shepherds. I like German Shepherds too. But I think what I'm gonna do this next time, if I ever get a dog again, I'm gonna go with the lab this time. Not to say I'll never get a pit again. But they're just real good dogs all the way around with everything. You know what I mean? And then another thing too, people don't seem to realize when they get dogs, and you really got to look at your living situations, because certain dogs, such as a German Shepherd, they have a personality that you can't have like in a small place, like where they're in the house. It's very difficult. You know what I'm saying? It's you got to really look at what you're getting yourself into. You know. In reality, Thin Dude is the pit bull, guard dog, Vito is the human. That's right. So I'm gonna give my little spiel on what I think about the pit bulls, and then I'm gonna look at some literature and see what, you know, how close I am or whatever. And then if anybody wants to talk about it, you know, questions or anything, or put in whatever you want, say what you know, say whatever, you know how we do it. Dutch Shepherds are next for me. Great dogs. Yeah, when you decide to get a dog, you need to find the right fit and make sure your lifestyle fits the breed. Exactly. There's more to. That's the thing too. It's more to getting a dog, just throwing them in the backyard and, you know, feeding them and giving them water every day. You just like having a kid. It's like having another family member. You gotta you know, just like your babies, when the kids are small, by a certain age, you got to have certain shots. You know, they could die from parvo. I've seen dogs die from parvo. It's miserable. It's miserable death. You know, you just got to make sure, just like with people at certain ages, you got to have your checkups for certain diseases. Certain breeds are more bigger on certain diseases than others. You know what I mean? You know, like the bigger breeds usually have bad hearts. German Shepherds, Rottweilers, Dobermans, they have bad hip problems. You know, later on in life. So all that stuff's all important. People don't seem to, you know, I don't get it. What some people be thinking, you know, especially over the time. You know, I'm not talking about going back to the 70s and 80s. You know, it was different back then. But now, you know, now we everything's been so advanced with medicine and everything, on humans, on animals. So, you know, all this new information on how to do things. You know, people need to look at that stuff before they take on another animal, stuff like that. You know, or not another animal, but bringing an animal and thinking it's just like having a kid. I mean, not having a kid and just throw them in the backyard. You know what I mean, or wherever, the bathroom, lock the door, all that. You know, close the door in the bathroom. So, like I mentioned, there's 3 pit bulls that I know of originally. Right, you got the American Pit Bull Terrier, which is red nose, blue nose, black noses. Right. You got the Staffordshire Terrier, which now I think there's the okay. So originally, when I hear Staffordshire, I would think you know, England, right, Great Britain. But what I found out a little bit earlier was there's an American Staffordshire, and then, like I said, you got the Pit Bull Terrier, which is like the Spud McKenzie. Dutchies have no health issues. I did a ton of research before taking the leap. Okay. And you know, now the big popular breed now is the French Bulldogs, right? Everybody seems to have them. Actors, musicians, rappers. I mean, they're just everywhere. It's like the big breed. It's the new big breed now. Exactly, Big Lou. The key word is animal. Yeah. So, like I said, when I think of these breeds, I think of I think of first. I think of, besides the American Pit Bull Terrier, I think of England, right? I think the terriers, they came from England. Also, these dogs were mixed to make this breed. Some, way back when, the Mastiff, the Bull Mastiff, the Mastiff. Those dogs somewhere were brought in to at some point way back when to breed with a terrier. Probably a bulldog. I imagine like a bulldog, English bulldog. To come up with this breed, right? Let's see. But then doing Vito, the pit bull, I'm still laughing. Yeah, it was funny, huh? Lou, salute from standing up to that clown Chicago maggot, the stolen valor thief. Anyone who rocks with him, well, I wouldn't say that anybody that rocks with him is a loser. Because there's a few people in here that watch his videos, but I will say this: anybody that believes his bullcrap lies about I gave up information on him and his family, is anybody would just hear that and just believe it? Because I've seen quite a few people in the comment section say, "Oh, thanks for telling us. We didn't know." Oh, I didn't know. Like, come on, man, miss me with that shit. People not by now should know my character and know that I don't even that's not part of my character, man. And then and to put it, and not to be disrespectful towards his family, because I don't know. It's all him that's on here running his mouth all the time. I give a fuck about who his family is. You know what I mean? I'm just putting it like I said, ain't no disrespect to his family because I don't know him. But to come out saying I'm a fuck that I gave up his information and I'm a snitch, but this chump is always threatening people. He's gonna beat them up. They're bitches. They're punks. Making fun of people's looks, but you don't even know what he looks like. You know what I mean? And then they call me a snitch, but I just heard him threatening to call 911. He said he won't hesitate. So I don't understand what some people think that's old school. What's so old school about threatening to call the police on people? I don't get it. But anyways, that's I've already touched that a couple of times, and like I said, there's people here that know that watch him also, and they know, at no time have I seen them say like things I've seen other people say, like, "Oh, thanks for telling us. We didn't know Big Lou did that." Well, I know Big Lou ain't done that. You know what I'm saying? Big Lou don't give a fuck about who nobody like that. The fuck I look like, man? Come on, sounds crazy. Oh, there he is. So this is Harvey Talks Prison. I was just bringing him up earlier for you guys to go check him out. He's from Missouri. He's from Missouri, and he's got a cool channel over there. He keeps it, short and sweet. You know what I mean? He's not one of those guys that make an hour-and-a-half video about one particular topic. And he's just himself when he tells stories. But me and him been doing some things, and I did a couple videos with him already. He dropped the second part today. And if you guys show Big Lou some support, and also Harvey, and go and give him a sub, like, and share his channel, and also watch the video that I did with him. You're a smart dude, Lou. That clown said his dad killed 300 Koreans one night and then was captured. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of people to kill and still get captured. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I don't really want to, because I don't know anything about his dad, or that's not me. I don't talk about people's families. I don't do that. So, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna keep it like what I said. At no time have I ever passed around anybody's information. And to keep it real, I don't even know how to do all that. I don't even know how to do an intro and outro on my own videos and put thumbnails on pre-recorded videos. So I'm really going to be searching people's information? Come on, man. That's not me. You know what I mean? That ain't me. There you go. Claudio Perry. Give him a sub, like, and share his channel as well. He's got some awesome music over there. He really knows what he's doing. That's why I call him the musical genius. But anyways, let's get back to what I was talking about. Let's get back to the topic. I don't really want to stay on negative stuff. So back to what I was saying. So when I think of besides American Pit Bull Terrier, I think of England. Like I said, way back when they took the breed of like Bull Mastiff, and mixed it with some terriers, probably a American Bulldog, and then probably mixed it with something else, some type of terrier, maybe I don't know, just some other kind of terrier, and then eventually we got this breed, Staffordshire Terrier, right? and then they put a couple more twists on it to make the pit bull terrier, and then the American. I'm thinking the American probably came breeding with American bulldog, because if you ask me, an American bulldog just looks like a giant pit bull. You know what I mean? So that's what I think of, and I know that they were used way. Also, they were a fighting dog. You know, they were used to bring down bulls and stuff like that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have that in their name, right? Pit bull. You know what I mean? They were used. They were guard dogs, probably in probably used in maybe this, the soldiers back in England, way back when, the royal guards, maybe. This is what I think of when I think of a pit bull, from England when they originally came out, and they were more used like how German shepherds are used and things like that, more in the modern era. You know what I mean? That's what I think of when I think of pit bulls. You know what I mean? And they're a good breed, man. I mean, just like with everything, just like with most things, it's a learned habit, behavior, right? Just like when people become mean and callous and all that, they get it from somewhere and it's taught to them, and then it's up to them, and depending on how old they are at the time, for somebody to keep pushing that in them, right? So the same thing with dogs. This is what I believe. You know what I mean? Well, Vito is half Dogo. Okay. So I was thinking, so I'm thinking, these dogs, and I also believe that it could be passed from generations. So somewhere down the line, if a dog was mistreated, and wanted to be mean, they wanted them to be mean, they wanted them to fight. Maybe, they had a litter, puppies, and then, it got past, it skipped that one and then caught the next one. Any little thing, sometimes dogs just snap. You got to keep in mind, they still are, even though they're domesticated animals, they still have wild genes in them. They're descendants of wolves, and they're descendants of, wild animals. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, like with the story that Farmedo told us about the family in Tennessee, that the little kids were killed by two of their family dogs, and the mother was in critical condition. I mean, we've heard these type of stories before, but these stories nowhere near outweighs the good dogs. You know what I'm saying? There's so many good dogs of that breed, man. There's so many. Indu's right now, his dog is part of his family. They do all kinds of things together. He treats him just like his baby or his grandbaby, or how, I don't know if he would consider Vito his kid or his grandkid. I don't know, because I know he gets visits with him because it's actually his daughter's dog. So that's why I'm saying grandkid. But the good stories way outweigh the bad, the tragic things, such as this family in Tennessee. You know what I mean? I remember another story of a poor kid was being babysitted by a lady, and her dogs ended up grabbing him right out of her arms, and killed him. And that's not that doesn't happen all the time. Yes, there's a lot of stories of it, but you're talking, 100 years or I don't know how many years, 80 years of these dogs being around. If you go back to the Little Rascal days, that's about 80 years back, right, in the 40s. So, these things don't happen as often as people, as it's talked about. Yeah, see, grandkid. That's right. Black Hat Music. Salute to you, and thanks for your service, sir. I love him more than I love myself. Yeah, see? Yeah. The problem is that pit and pit mixes make up 72% of dog attacks and are only 7% of the dog population, and 69% of the pit attacks are fatal. Oof. Those are some pretty high numbers, man. I mean, honest to God, when I'm reading that right now, it reminds me of the incarceration numbers. How it's like man, those are some big numbers. So 72% of the dog attacks are pit or pick mixes. So what's the other ones? Rottweiler, Chow Chow. I'm pretty sure Rottweiler, Chow Chow. Maybe, I don't think Akitas. I don't think Akita's. That'd be interesting to look more into that. But the dogs that I had, man, my three main pits that were like actually family members to me. So let me get back to that because I was trying to tell you. I told you guys about the first one that I had got. So I had got her. She was already like 8 or 10 months old, and she was already named, and she was already potty trained, and she was a red nose, and she was white with the big brown spot on her back, and I think her tail was half brown. If I could, man, it's been so long. And her name was already Moki. Moki. I don't know where he got that name from, but that was already her name. So at 10 months old, how am I going to change her name, right? Probably would have been difficult. So like I said, after I fed her, she was like, she acted like I had her since she was a baby. I was told she was a Kobe pit, where they were bred to be tall, longer bodies and long noses, and it had something to do with fighting. I don't know about that. I never was into doing that type of stuff, even though people would try to egg it on to do it. Friends of mine that I grew up with, that was never my thing. I'm not into all that. I don't like hurting your animals, scarring your animals. I don't dig that. They're not prize fighters, you know. So I never did it. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. That's why I say I don't bash the breed. It's people that buy these dogs and can't provide the mental nourishment they need. Yeah, it's straight up. It's the people. It's not. It's the people. I mean, like I said, you know, there might be some things in their genes, but something the people do triggers it. You know, regardless. I highly believe that. And it's also like if you want your, like I was just bringing up right now that my dogs, I wasn't into fighting them. I didn't like that. Period. I'm not into scarring up my animals. I'm not into letting them get hurt. You know, I'm not in it because even though they might not get hurt at the time they're fighting because their adrenaline's rolling and these are animals, afterwards they're going to be limping and all that. Just like when we get in fights, our adrenaline's rolling. I mean, unless you get knocked out or beat with bats or something like that, but just a straight up one-on-one fight, you know, and you don't get knocked out, you know, you're going to be hurting the next day. You're probably for 3-4 days. You might be in bed for 3 or 4 days, you know. So you don't think the dogs go through the same deal? You know what I mean? We have a pit lab pit mix. That's right. I'm not a badass. I have 2 Shelties. I used to have it was my mom's dog, but we had a collie like Lassie, and he was smart. He was real smart, and he would fight. Like what I mean by fight, he would put the other dogs in check because he was the boss. You know, he was the old head of the backyard. You know, of the property. You know, but yeah. So I wasn't into that stuff. So she was just a dog. You know, and I used to ride all over with her and have her in my backseat of my 76 Cutlass Oldsmobile Supreme, and I never put my windows up when she was in there. She'd just be in there, man. I remember a few times messing with my cousin. I said, yeah, go get I don't remember what he asked me for, a CD or tape. This is way back when, so I think we had tape still. And I said, yeah, go get it. It's in the car right there. And then I don't remember what I told him, but he goes in there all like, oh, okay. And he gets in there and she just, it scared the crap out of him. And then I had my girl looks like Lassie after being in the dryer and shrunk. Yeah. Yeah, they're like miniature Lassie collies. That's why I brought up the Lassie. I mean, the collie. Because their names are what? Shetland sheepdogs, right? They're like miniature collies. And so I had her. Then maybe a year down the line, I got this little brindle pit. He was small, and I got him maybe, I don't know, he could have been a little bit older than what I thought because he didn't grow very big, you know, so he could have been a lot older than I thought. And he had this big old little head, and he had a big wide chest, and you know, for his size, I thought. That's why I'm thinking he was a little bit older, but he was like tied to you know, like when you go in and out of your backyard, you touch you know, the gate. So the pole to the gate, he was on a leash, and the leash was on the pole. So the leash is only maybe 3 feet long. That's all the room he had, you know, and he would just, every time I'd pull up to the house in front, I would see him there, and he would always be looking out the fence, you know, and he'd be sitting there, and you could tell that he was, I don't want to say he was being neglected as far as feeding, but he was being neglected by being put on that pole like that and not getting no exercise and just being cooped up there. Can you imagine that? I mean, we as people, we can't be cooped up like that, even with the TV and all that in front of us, to be within 3 feet and can't move. Even with, like I said, with the TV, we're gonna piss and shit right there where we're laying. You know, it's kind of fucked up. Yo, what's up? Yeah, yeah, I just did I just did with the fellas that I talked yesterday. I did a little video with them. I don't know if they're dropping it today. It's a short one though, 30-some minutes. We'll probably do a second part or third part. We went on like 30. We did a little pre-record, like 40 minutes, 38 minutes before they went live last night. That was cool. And then go over to Harvey Talks Prisons, and me and Harvey been doing some networking, and me and Harvey been doing some network. Me and Harvey's been doing some networking. We've already done 2 videos. We did the first one on Tuesday. He dropped it Wednesday, and we did the second part yesterday. He dropped it today. And the way it's going, we probably got maybe 2 or 3 more parts to go. So go over there, check out Harvey, show us some love and support, and sub if you guys haven't already. Like and share Harvey's channel at Harvey Talks Prison, and drop some comments in there. Harvey's my favorite prison channel because he keeps it short and sweet, and he's himself. Like, he don't, like, it's all cool to joke and all that and get a little boisterous and loud sometimes, but he puts his stories, you know, his point, and then he's with the message. You know, the message is, you know, because Harvey went in at a young age. You know, he's trying to keep people from making the same mistakes that we made, you know. But in his case, you know, he did what a big brother does, you know. So yeah, Black Hat, his name is that's his channel right there. Harvey Talks Prison. Go check him out. He's I want to say, Harvey, how old are you? I figured about 52, 53, because I said you've been out 6 years. You went in when you were 17. That's 23, and then you did 29 years. So you're somewhere around there, right? 52, 53. Tim Henny Hen. So let's get back to what I was talking about. So pit bulls. Tim, have you had any pit bulls? Oh, give me 1 second. The boss. Okay, I'm back. 52. See, I was right on the money. That's what I said. 52. That was my first. I said 52 or 53. So these, yeah. So back to pit bulls. You know, people. You know, you hear of people. You know, like the operation. You know, like Michael Vick had. Since, you know, I'll bring in Michael Vick since he was a celebrity. You know, these guys had like state-of-the-art equipment, treadmills, and they had the medical kits to patch the dogs up afterwards, and antibiotics and painkillers, and all kinds of different things. You know, different you know, things they were doing to these animals to you know, just like a boxer gets, or MMA fighter trains, you know, their camp for their next fight. They had all this stuff set up to make these dogs stronger and faster, and, you know, everything, steroid use, you know, and all that stuff's part of the all that's part of the all that's part of the yeah, yes sir, yeah. It's somewhat of an interview, and then we're gonna somewhat of an interview. It's like an interview. It's like an interview, but I'm basically, it's kind of like he's asking me a couple questions here and there, and I'm telling him, basically, it's more, as of right now, it's more like telling him politics, how the politics work in California. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit of you know, there are some questions of so far, like how old I was when I first went in, things like that. But we'll cover all that at some point. We're gonna cover it all. So yeah, so like an operation like that with Michael Vick, you know, they had all this state of art equipment. You know, keep in mind he's a millionaire making all his money in the NFL. I don't know who else was linked up with him, but you know, it was a conspiracy charge, right? They sent these guys to the feds. So you know, other guys got money involved. You know, they're betting on dogs to fight. You know, it's you know, all that type of things. When you treat the animals this way, you know, you know, it's gonna have, you know, these dogs that they're having fighting, they're not. I highly doubt that they're having these animals when they're not fighting, that they're sitting on the couch with them. You know what I mean? Or they're riding around in their car, in the back seat, or they're anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't even think they, you know, with all the steroids and, you know, you hear this over the years, steroids make them eat gunpowder, different things to make these animals mean. You know what I mean? I think majority of it is just the treatment of it more than steroids, more than gunpowder. That's what I think. I could be wrong. You know, I'm not a expert on this type of stuff. Okay, time to eat. Glad I caught this. Like, yeah, thanks Harvey for stopping by again. Everybody here, if you haven't already, go sub to Harvey Talks Prison, and not only check out the 2 videos that we've done so far, but check out the rest of his stuff. Like I said, it's short and sweet. He don't do real long videos, maybe 15 minutes tops, most of them. But he tells a good, you know, whatever the topic is, he don't beat around the bush. You know what I mean? He gets right to it. Um, so yeah, so that's what I think when, you know, when I think of these high tech operations. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much what I think. Like what I said right now, what I think of about these animals, this breed, right? So let's look up and see what they say. Okay, pit bull is a term used in the U.S. for a type of dog descended from bulldogs and terriers, while in other countries such as United Kingdom, the term is used as an abbreviation of the American Pit Bull Terrier breed. The term was first used in 1927. Within the United States, the pit bull is usually considered a heterogeneous grouping that includes the breeds American Pit Bull Terrier, American Staffordshire Terrier, American Bully, Staffordshire Pit Bull Terrier, and occasionally the American Bulldog, along with any crossbreed dog that shares certain physical characteristics with these breeds. In other countries, including Britain, the Staffordshire Bull Terrier is not considered a pit bull. See that? So that's Spud McKenzie, right? I think it's got to be Spud McKenzie, the Spud McKenzie dog, right? Most pit bull type dogs descend from the British Bull and Terrier, a 19th century dog fighting type developed from crosses between the Old English Bulldog and the Old English Terrier. Huh. Okay. Pit bull type dogs have a controversial reputation as pets, both in the U.S. and internationally, due to their history in dog fighting. The number of high profile attacks documented in media over decades and their proclivity to latching on while biting. So they mean the lock. They're trying to say the lock, right? The jaw locks. I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in the 80s, it might have been 1990, but I want to say it was more between 86 and 88, but I could be wrong. It could have been 89, 90. There was a Sports Illustrated episode issue, Sports Illustrated issue that came out that had the pit bull on the front cover, and it had the main article inside was about the pit bull attacks. Okay, where am I at? Okay, so just got to that, and their proclivity to latching on while biting. Proponents of the breed and advocates of regulation have engaged in a nature versus nurture debate over whether apparent aggressive tendencies in pit bulls may be appropriately attributed to owner's care for the dog or inherited qualities. Numerous advocacy organizations have sprung up in defense of the pit bull. Some studies have argued that the type is not disproportionately dangerous, offering competing interpretation interpretations on dog bite statistics. Independent organizations have published statistics based on hospital records showing pit bulls are responsible for more than half of dog bite incidents among all breeds, despite comprising 6% of pet dogs. See, so what's the name? Farmetto's numbers are pretty close there. 6% of the pets. This one says half. I think he said 66%. I think he said. Some insurance companies will not cover pit bulls along with Rottweilers and wolf hybrids because these particular breeds cause a disproportionate rate of bite incidents. Dog bite severity varies by the breed of dog. Studies have found that pit bull type dogs have both the highest risk of biting and a tendency to produce the worst, most severe injuries. I will say this. Even my dogs, no matter how the ones I had, the pit bulls I had, no matter how, and this goes for any dog that I've had, even though no matter how well they were around kids and people in general, I would never, I would always put it in my kids or anybody else's head: do not mess with the dog when they're eating. Period. I don't care if you're petting them, messing with the tail, anything. Do not touch the dog while they're eating, because like I said, they still have genes in them of wild animals. You know what I'm saying? They're descended from wild animals. I'm gonna go eat something right now. Too good seeing everybody. Yeah, go ahead, handle your business. I'm probably only gonna be on a couple more minutes though. That's because smaller dog bites go unreported. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so pit bull type dogs are extensively used in the U.S. for dog fighting, a practice that has continued despite being outlawed. A number of nations and jurisdictions restrict the ownership of pit bull type dogs through breed specific legislation. A pro pit bull lobby exists that spends millions of dollars a year promoting pit bulls as family pets, funding pro pit bull researchers, and opposing laws that regulate their ownership. Yeah, I was going to say that too. There's a documentary I seen too. The same documentary that talks about that lady who was babysitting that little 1-year-old boy, or he was about 16 months, 18 months, maybe 2 years old, but he wasn't older than that. Her own two pet that she's had grabbed the boy out of her arms, and they did a number on him. And I don't know if he survived. I don't remember if he survived, but I do remember that he came in and had to do like emergency surgery on him. And no, I don't think he did survive, to be honest with you. But that same documentary, I want to say it was Canada. Matter of fact, Claudio, are you still here? Can you give me any insight on that? If I'm correct about that, if it was Canada that pit bulls are not allowed to have, you're not allowed to own pit bulls. Okay, so here's a little history. It is believed that all dogs that are now classified as pit bulls descend from the British Bull and Terrier. Okay, I mentioned that already, which were first imported into North America in the 1870s. The Bull and Terrier was a breed of dog developed in the UK in the early 19th century for the blood sports of dog fighting and rat baiting. It was created by crossing the ferocious, thickly muscular Old English Bulldog with the agile, feisty black and tan Terrier. The aggressive Old English Bulldog was bred for bear and bull baiting, was often also pitted against its own kind in organized dog fights, and it was found that lighter, faster dogs were better suited to dog fighting than the heavier bulldog. To produce a lighter, faster, more agile dog that retained the courage and tenacity of the bulldog, outcrosses from the local terriers were tried and ultimately found to be successful. As it was in the UK, dogfighting became a more popular pastime in the 19th century America, and bull and terriers were imported to the New World to pursue the blood sport. In the United States, organized dogfights have been progressively outlawed in various states since 1874, culminating in federal legislation criminalizing the animal dogfighting in 2007. In 1890, breeders of American Pit Bull type dogs attempted to have their dogs recognized by the American Kennel Club, but because of the type's association with dogfighting, the club rejected these entries. Yeah, so that was another thing I was going to say. When you got a pit bull, I believe the only one I believe, actually, I'm not sure about that. The AKC, which is American Kennel Club. I know the UKC, the United Kennel Club, recognizes them, and also, I'm not. It's one of these two different ones. It's either the ABDA or the ADBA. And that's another association kennel type deal, and they recognize them, but not the American Kennel Club. Following the rejection in 1898, this rejection in 1898, breeders of the American Pit Bull Terriers established a rival kennel club, the United Kennel Club. Okay, so that's what I was just talking about, the UKC. In addition to being a breed registry, the United Kennel Club also regulated dog fights. In 1930, the American Kennel Club was faced with a dilemma. While it's not wishing to condone dogfighting, there was a desire to recognize a uniquely American dog breed for which over 30 years of breed records existed. The solution was to recognize Pit Bull Terriers under a different name and prohibit these dogs from being used in organized fights. And in 1935, the American Kennel Club recognized Pit Bull Terriers as Staffordshire Terriers. So that's what I was going to say. The Staffordshire Terriers were the breed that they recognized. Yankees, what's up? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The Staffordshires are recognized by the AKC. The name Staffordshire Bull Terrier was first used in Britain in 1930 in advertisements for bull and terrier type dogs. Organized dogfighting had been effectively eliminated in the UK by the Protection of Animals Act 1911, but devotees of the bull and terrier type continue to breed these dogs predominantly in England's Black Country. Throughout the early 1930s, attempts were made in England to gain recognition for these dogs with the Kennel Club. These efforts were successful in 1935. In order to avoid confusion with the British breed, in 1972, the AKC, American Kennel Club, changed the name of their American breed to the American Staffordshire Terrier. Oh, okay, so that's weird. Okay, so it's breaking it down, how they changed. Despite criminalization, legal fights using pit bull type dogs have continued to be widespread in the U.S. In the 1990s in that country, it was estimated 1,500 dogs died annually in organized fights, and by the mid-2000s, it was estimated over 40,000 people were involved in illegal blood sport. Pit bull type dogs are also used by criminal organizations to guard illegal narcotics and to intimidate and attack civilians, other criminals, and police, the type becoming a status symbol in American gang culture. On the other side of the law, pit bull type dogs have been used by U.S. Customs and Border Protection as drug detection dogs. There is a lobby of American rights groups that are spending millions of dollars to try to rebrand pit bulls as family dogs. In efforts to counter negative perceptions about pit bull type dogs, both the San Francisco Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals and the New York City Center for Animal Control and Care have unsuccessfully attempted to rename the type. Wow. So, identification. Studies have found that when people involved in dog rescue, adoption, and regulation identify the breed of a dog of mixed parentage, this identification did not always correlate with DNA analysis of that dog. Mixed breeds are often labeled as pit bulls if they have certain physical characteristics, such as a square-shaped head or bulky body type. So, since they brought up the rescue and all that, San Francisco and New York, I want to bring up the two. There was two shows. There was two shows that used to come on: Parolees, Pit Bulls, and Parolees. And the lady, I can't think of her name right now. She used to give these guys a job, and they would go out and they would get calls and they would go out and rescue pit bulls, and they would rescue any dogs, but pit bulls were their specialty. So obviously for the show, they would come and rescue the pit bulls. A lot of times they rescue the dogs and then they have a litter of puppies. They'd find a litter of puppies somewhere. You know what I mean? Sometimes it would take a whole show to rescue the one animal and the puppies, because the dog was smart, and they knew how to get away. Just like people say, "Oh, my neighborhood, I know it like the back of my hand. I know all the nook and crannies, all the all the alleys, all the different spots to hide." Same thing with these animals when they're out there running around, living on the street, just chilling. What's up? Just chilling. So let me know if anybody wants to come on and tell their a story about their dog, pit bull dog, or anything. But I'll drop the link. Red nose pits are the best. Yeah. So I had 3 pit bulls. Okay, so I only told about 2 of them so far. Okay, let me finish about this. So we had the pit bulls and parolees, and like I said, she had like anywhere from like 5 to 10 guys that were on parole or were still working for her, but they were on parole at one time. Like that dude Armando, I think his name was, and he was a main character on the show for a while. And then the other show was about the little dude, the little guy. He went by Shorty Rossi, and he was actually from Bounty Hunter Bloods, and he was a little Italian dude, and he was a little guy, so that's the proper word to use, right? Little person. He was a little person. He's out there in LA area somewhere. Both of these people are down south. Matter of fact, parolees, pit bulls and parolees, and then Shorty. His name was Shorty Rossi, and he was like I said, he's even had pictures showing him in Old Folsom prison. He did 10 years, and now what he runs was when they're doing the show, it was a talent office. So like when they need people for commercials or any type of gigs where they need little people, to dress up as whatever, anything, they call him, and they use him. They call him, and he uses his people. So he has like 3 or 4 people, 2 guys and a lady that work in the office, and a lot of times they do the gigs as well. If they need more people than they have, they'll join in. And then on the side, they go and rescue pit bulls. And this guy comes to work, and he has like 3 or 4 pits. They're all in his car. They're all trained. You know what I mean? So there's 2 cool shows that were in production a while back. But like I said, the pit bulls go way back to Little Rascals. I'm pretty sure they were around even before that in some other shows or movies. So I already spoke about Moki, the first pit bull I had. She was a Kobe, red nose. And then I talked about the little Brindle. He had a big head, big chest. So like I was saying, I thought he was a lot younger than he was. I really don't know, because the only reason I'm saying that is because he didn't grow big at all. Like he was only like 30 pounds, but he had a big head and a pretty big chest for his size. So I called him Funny, because he kind of looked funny, right? Well, one day he learned how to climb the fence, I guess is what happened. And he learned how to climb the fence, and I guess he lost his balance and fell. And I think what happened was his leg got stuck in there. And so sometimes he would limp, and sometimes he would put the foot down, but you can tell that, there was an issue there. And I regret not taking him to the vet. And at the time I wasn't like sitting nice with finances and stuff, but I regret not taking them and checking them out. But those 2 dogs are the ones, when I told the story about my so-called pot friend wore a wire on me. Those are the 2 dogs that the cops shot when they raided the place. They killed those first 2 dogs. Okay, and they shot him. And remember, I said he was small. He was only 30 pounds. They shot him not only with the 9mm, but with the gauge too. The gauge is finally what killed him. The first dog, Moki, the Kobe pit, they shot her with the 9 and killed her. The 3rd dog I had, he was there as well when this happened, but luckily for him and luckily for me, I just got his ears done, so I had to keep him away. They wanted me to keep him away from the other dogs, because even when they wrestle, they could mess the stitches up in his ears. So luckily for him, and like I said, I had him chained up to the side on like he was on like a 15-foot, maybe 20-foot cord. And I had him away from the other animals for that reason. And so he didn't get shot. You know what I mean? He just got taken to the pound, and I had to get him out once I got out. I inherited Gray Staffy. I think it's English. I've never trusted pit bulls in past, but I fell in love with this one. He's very strong, heavy, very, very gentle and lovable. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thanks for sharing that, Stormy. Um, and so he would like. So I had a, even that day when this happened, when they shot my other two dogs, I had a fourth dog in the back, and her name was Shorty, which she's the dog. When I was telling earlier in the story about Antonio, I gave him a blue fawn dog pit, and I told him later on, get me a stocky, short, red nosed female. That's where I got the Shorty from. So I didn't have like a close I didn't have a close bond with her at that time. But then after my other two dogs got killed, I had Rojo, who was the third dog that was just got his ears done, who I had off to the side, and Shorty. And Shorty got a lot more. I got a lot more closer to Shorty by that time. Um, and then later on down the road, I got Rojo's niece, and I named her Ruby. Right, Ruby Red. She was dead on like him. I mean, just darker red. So that's why I called her Ruby Red. But unfortunately for them, I didn't know what was going on until I finally figured it out. But these guys were going underneath the fence and getting out, and then they would come back the same way and get back under the fence, come back into the yard. All three of them were doing this, and for a while, the Rojo was back, and Shorty and Ruby were gone. And so 2 days go by, 3 days go by. About a week later, somebody tells me, "Hey," because I live right. There was a train tracks. I mean, directly behind me. You walk up the little rocks, like once you get to it was a dead end street, and when you walk up the rocks, there's the tracks, like the rocks, maybe I don't know, 5 feet up, maybe. Well, they got hit by the train, and their bodies were down there. And so when somebody told me this, I walked all the way down there, and I found them. So at least, I mean, I hate to say it, but at least I knew what happened to him now, and I wasn't just wondering, you know what I mean? If somebody got him and was abusing him. Because like I mentioned earlier about the dog fighting, these people will find dogs stray, and somehow get them to come and trust them, and then get them and then start fighting them. And I was kind of worried about that, and then I find out what happened to him. So what I ended up doing was, I don't think Claudio's still here, because I asked Claudio a question about Canada. I think it's illegal to have them in Canada, pit bulls or pit bull mix. But so what I had to do is I went back to that after I seen this happen. I went and got me some steaks, and then I hammered the steaks. And well, actually, I didn't get steaks. I was gonna get wood steaks at first, but then I ended up getting the metal, like for the horseshoes. I got I don't remember. It's been 20 plus years now, but I got like so many of them, and I hammered them down in the dirt where the fence is at, and then put chicken wire around him. That way he couldn't lift the fence up and go underneath anymore, because I know for sure. Yeah, Yanks. I think so. Yeah, I think that is true. I think it is Canada, because I watched a documentary, and so I staked those down, and I like I said, I tied them up with chicken wire, and that way he couldn't get up under there no more, because man, that dog right there, Rojo, he had his ears done. He was good size, 70 pounds. Anybody that's into that fighting, they see him, they would love to grab him and put him, into that, put him out there to fight. Like I said, I was highly against that. I'm not into that. You know what I mean? So I was, I didn't want him getting out no more. You know what I mean? So I, like any responsible dog owner should do, fence that off so that doesn't happen no more, which I did. So, so yeah, that's a little bit. And then, let me see, after that, those three pits, I had Rojo, that was, 2001. I had him up until 2006. He was with me when I caught a pistol case, in 2006, and he was with me in the U-Haul truck. We were doing some moving around, and he didn't go to the pound, but eventually I was incarcerated, and eventually I don't know exactly what happened to him. You know what I mean? I hate to say that. It was a very good dog. I kicked myself And I mean, by now he would have been really old, but nonetheless, I'm pretty sure because of the area, I don't think they adopted pit bulls. So I've lived with that little guilt about not having my stuff together and doing wrong and losing him, and then him having to pay with his life. I don't know exactly what happened there because I'm not sure because he wasn't a mean dog. Don't get me wrong. He would bark, good watchdog. He was trained under command. Like, he would listen to, like, get rowdy a little bit. But as far as like just being flat out mean and just biting you, no, he wasn't like that. So I know he would pass the tests as far as being around people. Male dogs, no, I don't think he would have passed that. Females for sure, but not male dogs. Definitely not cats. He wouldn't be around cats. So but yeah, I had to live. I lived with that all these years now. Even with the other animals getting shot. Ultimately, even though the guy told on me, ultimately, if I wasn't doing what I was doing, then none of that would even happen. You know what I mean? So it's all about being honest with yourself at some point on some things. You got to look at what you did in order for things to happen. You know what I mean? Great show tonight, man. No thanks. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap on out. But at the end of the day, so I ended up getting another. So he was that was 06. So I lost him sometime in the beginning of 07. I was incarcerated, like I said. That was Rojo, and then I ended up getting another blue nose from a friend of my sister's. I went and picked her up in another town, and we had a little yard. I mean, it was literally a little yard. It was only like it was only like maybe when you come out, it was a little gated in area. It was a gated in area, in a gate, in a fenced in area. So you come out your back door. It was like it was all concrete too, no grass. So it was like maybe I would say probably 5 feet wide, 6 feet wide tops by probably 8. And that's no place to keep no animal, dog. Plus the bigger yard, because our neighbors had a fence just like that, and then we shared a bigger yard. And they happened to always let their dog out, and they had a blue nose too, almost look identical. And so she would come to the fence, and they would fight through the fence, that stuff. So I would take her every day to the big field about maybe half a mile away, and just let her run. But then eventually it just wasn't going to work because, like I said, we let her out to use the bathroom. Their dog comes to the gate, and it's just a bunch of rah-rah, right? So I ended up giving her to a friend who took real good care of her, had her all the way till her dying day. And she was about 10 years old. She lived to about 10 years old, maybe. They had her for like 10 years. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say that. They had her for about 10 years. I don't know what the deal with her is now. Because the guy I gave her to, he passed away. A guy my age, maybe a year or two older than me, he passed away. I don't know if she's still alive or what, but as of right now, you're talking 2010 till now. That's what, 12 years. So if she's still alive, she'd be about 14 years old. She was about 2 when I got her, year and a half, 2 years old. And they got all mad. The reason why they got rid of her is because she got pregnant by a mutt, whatever, not a full-blooded, not even pit bull. I think it was like a lab or something. So they were all upset. The owner is saying that it messed up her bloodline and this and that for future puppies and things like that. And then I got her. So, but that was the last pit bull I had. And like I said, that was like 2010. And I haven't got one since. And really, I don't plan on getting one. As of right now, I might go like Labrador. That's what I'm really looking at for the next dog if I ever get one. But like I said, it's a lot of responsibility for an animal, taking on an animal. So anybody, that's thinking about getting an animal out there that watches this video later, research the breed, make sure that your living situation and the breed are compatible, because dogs, each breed have their own characteristics, so it's a must to find all that out. So I've been on 1 hour and 5 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and tap on out. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. I appreciate anybody that comes back and watches this video later. Labs are really good. I think labs are the most popular dog in the world, or maybe it might just be the U.S. But I know they're very, very intelligent. They get good reviews, nothing but good things said about them. Yeah, they take a lot of care because they're just like having another family member. You got to make sure you get them their shots, just like your babies when they're little. They got to have certain shots to go to school, depending on what state you live in. If the state pushes that in the legislator, but yeah, you got to make sure they have their shots, their rabies, the parvo, the 7-in-1. I don't even think it's 7-in-1 now. I think it's like 9-in-1 or something. But yeah, all that stuff. You got to make sure where you're going to keep them at is going to be compatible. Like I said, all these breeds have their certain characteristics, and you got to do your research on these animals to make sure where you live is going to be a fit. And not only that, look at the dog's characteristics and just really look into things. And it takes money, like you said, money and time, because if you got 2 jobs, you're working 2 jobs, and you're only getting 3 hours of sleep, and you're the one's going to take care of it, probably ain't a good idea. You know what I mean? You're going to be forgetting to feed it, forgetting to take it out to use the restroom, depending on what your living situation is. So you got to really look at things before you just jump into it. So, but again, I appreciate everybody for stopping in. I appreciate everybody that's going to watch this later. If you guys haven't already, go and sub to Harvey Talks Prison. He's from Missouri. And me and him been doing some collaborations together. We did 2 videos. The second one dropped today. The first one dropped on Wednesday. We probably got another 3 or 4 more episodes. I also did something with iTalk. If they only knew yesterday, they might drop it today. I'm not sure. But go give them a sub. Also, if this is the first time you come in here, watching this video later on as a rerun, whatever, sub, like, and share this channel, and also the original channel, No Fly Zone. And that being said, Big Lou, tapping on out.